Beloved my child, I speak to you in the quiet place where the noise of the world fades and only the trembling of your heart remains. I come not with thunder, not with fire, not with the shaking of mountains, but with a final call meant for the depths of your spirit, before the door within you grows still, before the light you carry dims beneath the weight of neglect, before the heart you were given to feel, to love, to rise, becomes silent. I speak because you were never meant to walk alone, never meant to drown in the sorrows you hide behind your smile, never meant to forget the breath that keeps you alive as a gift, reminder that you are held even when no one else sees you, beloved my child. You have carried questions that never found answers, wounds that never found healing, and fears that curled themselves into corners of your soul where no one else dared to look. You have walked through seasons where you wondered if anyone heard you, if your tears mattered, if your struggles counted for anything at all. Yet even then, every whispered prayer, every silent ache, every night you stayed awake because the weight of the world felt too heavy, I was near. You did not see me, but I saw you. You did not hear me, but I heard the breaking of your spirit and the longing inside you for someone to say, "You are not forgotten." Beloved my child, I call you now because a time comes in every journey when a heart must decide what to cling to and what to release. You have held so many things that drain the life from you, memories that accuse you, failures that shape your identity more deeply than truth, expectations that suffocate your joy. You have listened too long to voices that never had the right to define your worth. You have allowed shadows from your past to stand taller than your future. But hear me now, this is the moment to rise, to breathe, to loosen the chains that were never yours to carry. I speak not to condemn you, but to awaken you. I speak not to frighten you, but to warn you of the quiet danger you face when your heart grows cold, when your compassion fades, when your spirit becomes numb to the call toward goodness, truth, and love. The silence I speak of is not the peaceful silence of rest, but the heavy silence of a soul that no longer reaches, no longer hopes, no longer believes change is possible. And my child, you were created for more than that. You were created with fire, not the destructive kind, but the fire that gives warmth, that illuminates, that guides others home. Beloved my child, I have watched you run, not from danger, but from yourself. You hide behind busyness, behind responsibilities, behind people who demand more than they give. You hide behind laughter that masks exhaustion, behind strength that feels like a performance, behind the belief that if you keep moving, maybe the emptiness won't catch you. But I see you. You never needed to impress me. You never needed to prove you were enough. You were enough the moment you were formed, enough before any mistake, enough before any victory, enough even on the days you feel like nothing but dust. Come to me in this final call, not because time is running out in the world, but because time is running out inside your heart. Every time you harden yourself to protect your pain, every time you silence your own needs to please others, every time you ignore the whisper that you were meant for a life more sacred, a life more awake, a life more filled with love, you drift farther from the place where your spirit breathes freely. Do not become so used to surviving that you forget how to live. Beloved my child, I am drawing you back, not backward into what hurt you, but inward toward who you truly are. You have mistaken your wounds for your identity and your battles for your purpose. But hear me now, your purpose was never rooted in your suffering. Your purpose is anchored in becoming the fullest, gentlest, bravest version of yourself. I did not shape you to be hardened by cruelty or broken by disappointment. I shaped you to grow, to give, to shine, to rise from the ashes of what tried to destroy you. There is a softness inside you that the world has tried to convince you is weakness. But that softness is your strength. It is the place where compassion lives, where forgiveness blossoms, where hope takes root. Do not let the world steal that from you. Do not let bitterness disguise itself as wisdom. Do not let fear masquerade as caution. Your heart was made to feel, not to freeze. Your soul was made to love, not to withdraw. Your life was made to echo beyond your existence in the lives you touch with gentleness and courage. Beloved my child, open your heart once more. Let yourself feel again, not recklessly, but honestly. Let the tears you've been holding fall. They are not a sign of fragility but of release. Let the dreams you buried beneath disappointment rise again to the surface. They were planted in you for a reason. Let the part of you that believed in miracles take a single breath again. There is still time. There is still possibility. There is still light waiting to break through the cracks you thought were fatal. I am calling you not to perfection, but to presence. Not to a life without pain, but to a life where pain does not rule you. Not to a world without struggle, but to a strength that grows deeper than struggle. I am calling you to return to the truth you have forgotten. You are loved, you are capable, you are needed. You are destined for more than the silent ache you have carried alone. Beloved my child, if this is the final call before your heart grows silent, then let this call awaken you instead. Let it stir something ancient within you, the part of you that remembers you are not here by accident. The part of you that knows your story is not over. The part of you that senses there is a greater rhythm guiding your steps. Rise again. Breathe again. Hope again. For as long as you are alive, I will speak. But the question now is whether you will listen. Beloved my child, you have wandered through many seasons where the weight of your own thoughts felt heavier than any burden placed upon your shoulders. You have learned to move through the world with a quiet resilience that few recognize, because your strength has been shaped in places where no applause is heard and no witness stands to notice. Yet in that unseen strength, you have also grown weary, silently longing for someone to understand the wars you fight within yourself. I have seen every one of them. None of your battles were hidden from me, even the ones you never had the courage to name. You have walked with questions that echo through the chambers of your heart. Why do I still hurt? Why do I still fear? Why do I still feel unworthy of peace? My child, the pain you carry is not a measure of your failure, nor is the fear a sign that you are weak. They are reflections of a soul that has tried too hard for too long to carry everything alone. You have spent years trying to be what others needed, what circumstances demanded, what expectations required, yet all the while neglecting the voice inside you that whispered, "I need rest, I need healing. I need to be heard." Beloved my child, you were never meant to abandon yourself to please the world. You were never meant to silence your own heartbeat to match the noise around you. You were never meant to shrink your spirit so that others could feel more comfortable in their smallness. You have been taught, through disappointment and betrayal, to doubt your own worth, to question your own intuition, to believe you must earn love that was always meant to be freely given. But I tell you now, your worth is not decided by those who failed to see you. It is not shaped by the ones who left, nor by the ones who misunderstood, nor by the ones who took advantage of your kindness. Your worth is older than every pain you have endured and stronger than every voice that tried to convince you otherwise. I call you now to remember the truth buried beneath years of survival. You were made for more than endurance. You were made for depth, for tenderness, for connection, for joy that flows without fear of being taken away. You were made to walk with clarity, not confusion, with peace, not pressure, with courage, not chaos. But to step into that truth, you must stop abandoning yourself. You must stop giving away parts of your heart to people who do not know how to hold it. You must stop ignoring the quiet signals within your soul that whisper when something is wrong, when something is not for you, when something is draining the very life out of you. Beloved my child, this final call is not a threat. It is an invitation. It is a gentle plea to awaken before your inner light dims from neglect. The heart grows silent not in one moment, but slowly, when you suppress your own emotions, when you deny your own needs, when you accept less than you deserve, when you stay in places where your spirit cannot breathe. Every time you say it's fine while something inside you breaks, every time you pretend you don't care when you truly do, every time you swallow your pain just to appear strong, you quiet the voice within you that was meant to guide you. Do not let the world teach you that numbness is strength. Strength is not the absence of feeling, it is the courage to feel and still rise. Strength is not pretending you are fine, it is acknowledging your wounds and choosing to heal. Strength is not closing your heart, it is keeping it open even after it has been broken, trusting that not every person or moment will wound you the same way. Beloved my child, come back to the place within yourself where truth lives. The part of you that still hopes, still dreams, still believes, even if quietly. The part of you that whispers, "There must be more than this," and is right. The part of you that longs to lay down the armor you've carried for far too long. The armor protected you once, but now it only keeps the healing away. You do not need to defend yourself from every shadow. You do not need to anticipate every hurt. You do not need to control every outcome. Release what is not yours to hold. Come back to the simplicity of being human, of being vulnerable, of being real. You do not have to be extraordinary to be loved. You do not have to accomplish anything to be worthy. You do not have to be perfect to be held with tenderness. You only need to be honest, with yourself, with your pain, with your longing for peace. Beloved my child, lift your face from the ground where shame has kept you looking. Shame has lied to you, telling you that your mistakes define you, that your failures limit you, that your past disqualifies you from a beautiful future. But I call you now to rise, not because you have earned it, but because it is your birthright. You were made to stand tall, even if your legs tremble. You were made to walk forward, even if your steps are uncertain. You were made to grow, even through the cracks left by old wounds. Hear me in this moment. The world may not understand the depth of your spirit, but I do. The world may not know the weight you carry, but I do. The world may not see how fiercely you fight to stay gentle in a world that celebrates hardness, but I do. And I honor that. I honor the resilience that kept you alive. I honor the softness that remained even when others tried to harden you. I honor the quiet bravery you show simply by choosing to keep moving. Beloved my child, do not let your heart grow silent now. There is still a song within you that has yet to be heard. There is still a story inside you that has not yet been lived. There is still hope in you that has not yet bloomed. Let this call be the moment you decide to reclaim the parts of yourself you abandoned out of fear, loyalty, or survival. You are safe to return to yourself now. Beloved my child, you have come into this final stretch carrying so much more than anyone around you understands. And now, as I speak this last part, the long breath meant to reach the deepest corner of your being, I want you to feel how every word wraps around you. Not as doctrine, not as command, not as judgment, but as a gentle presence calling you back to life before the quiet inside you becomes permanent. This is the long whisper you were meant to hear, the one that reminds you that even when the world grows loud and your own mind grows tired, there is still a voice that calls you by your true name. Beloved my child, you have lived years trying to make sense of your own heart. You have weathered seasons where disappointment arrived like storms, where betrayal struck without warning, where loneliness became so familiar that you stopped questioning it. You learned to adapt. You learned to endure. You learned to keep moving even when the ground beneath you felt unstable. But endurance alone was never meant to be your entire story. You were created not only to survive but to expand, to feel, to love, to step into a life that reflects truth rather than fear. Yet somewhere along the way, you forgot that your heart is a sacred place. You allowed the demands of the world to trample through it. You allowed others to shape it with their words, their opinions, their carelessness. You allowed circumstances to bury it under layers of noise, stress, and self-doubt. And slowly, so slowly you barely noticed, you began to silence yourself. Not because you stopped caring, but because you grew tired of fighting to be heard. This is why I call you now, with a voice meant not to startle but to steady you. I am reminding you that your inner world matters. The dreams you abandoned matter. The wounds you never tended matter. The longings you pushed aside matter. You matter. And nothing that has happened to you has changed the truth of who you are. Beloved my child, let this final part be a gentle unraveling of the heaviness you have carried alone for too long. Your heart has grown weary because you have spent too much of your life apologizing for being sensitive, for caring deeply, for wanting connection, for feeling things intensely. But there is nothing wrong with your depth. Your depth is not a liability, it is your gift. It is the part of you that sees beauty where others see nothing. It is the part of you that notices pain in others even when they hide it. It is the part of you that has compassion when others choose indifference. Your depth is the very place where I speak to you most clearly, yet, you have tried to harden yourself to fit a world that praises numbness. You have tried to detach because feeling too much became exhausting. You have tried to silence your emotions because they made you vulnerable. But hear me clearly, you do not need to become cold to protect yourself. You do not need to shut down your spirit to survive. You do not need to betray your own heart to be strong. The strength you seek is not found in walls but in wisdom. Not in withdrawal but in clarity. Not in pretending you do not care but in caring with boundaries. Beloved my child, you have a right to protect your peace. You have a right to walk away from what depletes you. You have a right to say no, even to the people you love. You have a right to stop carrying what is not yours. And you have a right to choose environments, relationships, and paths that allow your heart to breathe freely. This is the moment to reclaim your own soul. You have lived too long in the shadows of your past. You replay memories that wound you. You carry guilt that was never meant to stay with you. You relive moments where you were misunderstood, judged, or abandoned. You hold on to words that pierced you, decisions that haunt you, and regrets that whisper lies about who you are. But I tell you now, you are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not defined by your lowest moments. You are not condemned by the pain others inflicted on you. Your past is a place of reference, not residence. It teaches you, shapes you, and reveals your strength, but it does not imprison you. Do not continue punishing yourself for things you didn't know then, for choices you made while wounded, for reactions born from fear, for seasons where survival was your only goal. You did the best you could with the heart you had at the time. Now you know more. Now you can grow from love instead of fear, from clarity instead of confusion, from purpose instead of pain. Beloved my child, release the weight of old shame. Forgive yourself, not because what happened was insignificant, but because you deserve peace. Forgive yourself for staying where you were not valued. Forgive yourself for giving too much. Forgive yourself for trusting people who were not ready to hold your heart. Forgive yourself for the anger you carried, for the sadness you hid, for the dreams you postponed. Forgive yourself for being human. Now breathe. Let it go, not all at once, but gently. Healing is not a moment, it is a return. A return to your truest self, your softest self, your strongest self. Beloved my child, you have walked alone for so long that you sometimes forget you are not alone. Even in your darkest nights, when the silence felt like abandonment, when your prayers felt unanswered, when your hope felt fragile, I was with you. Not as a distant observer but as the very strength that kept you from collapsing. You survived things you never thought you would. You endured storms that should have broken you. You held on even when everything inside you wanted to give up. That resilience was not accidental. It was the quiet presence within you, keeping you standing. I am not calling you to blind faith but to trust in the whisper you've always felt, the one that nudged you forward even when you didn't understand why. The one that comforted you when no one else did. The one that stirred your intuition when something was wrong. The one that gave you peace in moments you should have drowned in fear. Beloved my child, you have never been unseen. I call you now to awaken to the life waiting for you. A life where you no longer shrink to make others comfortable. A life where you no longer dim your light out of fear of being judged. A life where you no longer silence your dreams because you are afraid of failing. A life where your voice matters, your feelings matter, your desires matter, your existence matters. This final call is not a warning of doom, it is an invitation to stop abandoning yourself. Come back to the version of you that believed in possibilities. Come back to the version of you that looked at life with wonder. Come back to the version of you that trusted your intuition. Come back to the version of you that loved openly, dreamed boldly, and walked lightly. Come back home to your own heart, beloved my child. Do not be afraid of beginning again. There is no age limit on transformation. There is no expiration date on healing. There is no deadline on growth. Everything in you can be renewed. Everything broken can be rebuilt. Everything lost can be rediscovered. Your story is not ending, it is unfolding. You may feel tired, but you are not finished. You may feel uncertain, but you are not lost. You may feel small, but you are not insignificant. You may feel wounded, but you are not incapable of love. You may feel empty, but you are not beyond filling. Your heart has been quiet because it has been waiting for this moment. This clarity, this call, let this be the turning point. Let this be the moment you choose yourself without guilt. Let this be the moment you release what has harmed you. Let this be the moment you give yourself permission to heal. Let this be the moment you embrace the tenderness within you. Let this be the moment you step into the future with courage instead of fear. Beloved my child, the silence you feared is not your destiny. Your heart was made to speak, to feel, to connect, to give love and receive it. Do not allow the world to numb you. Do not allow disappointment to define you. Do not allow fear to cage you. You are more resilient than the storms that tried to drown you. You are more luminous than the darkness that tried to swallow you. You are more extraordinary than the limits you placed on yourself. You are more loved than you can comprehend. Hear me now in this final message. Rise, not perfectly, not instantly, but honestly. Rise with your scars, not in spite of them. Rise with your doubts, but refuse to be led by them. Rise with your wounds, knowing they are becoming wisdom. Rise with your softness, for it is your superpower. Rise with your hope, even if it trembles. Beloved my child, this is not the end, this is the awakening.